Sometimes a certain scene or moment from a show stands out to us so much that it stays burned in our memories, either because of how beautiful it was, or probably due to a certain emotional connection we felt with it. Or maybe you found it to be relatable to your current or past situation, or simply because of its pure badassery. So here I am to talk about these such very scenes or moments in anime, TV shows and films that stuck with me and the audience, or probably just me, in this little series on my channel called What's in a Scene. In this video I am going to talk about the paper scene or the mob fixing the novel scene from Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. This scene holds a lot of emotional weight behind of it. It is a great character moment for Mob. Mob is a person who does not express his emotions openly. Yes, his emotions do come out in the form of 100% emotional burst of energy, but that is a completely different thing from how he expresses himself in his day-to-day life. So for Mob to express his emotion and speak up for Emi and for himself in a way shows how much his character has grown from the start of the series till now. It also shows us a glimmer of how much Mob is going to better himself. We see Kageyama's potential for growth as a person through this scene and how much he is going to develop and change in the future. Now another thing about this scene, and the main thing I wanted to talk about it, was the change the scene went through from what it first was. When the first time the scene was written by one, he did not add the part in which the wind blows up the shredded pieces of paper. Originally, when this scene was released as a web manga, the lead up to the scene was the same, but the moment he used his psychic power was different. In the first iteration of the scene, Mob collects the pieces of paper, then uses his powers to fix them back together after Emi's friends had left and she was helping him collect the pieces. So in the way it was first written, it showed that Mob trusted Emi enough to use his powers in front of her. It is not like Kageyama actively tries to hide his psychic abilities, but for him to use his powers to fix the novel showed an expression of trust and forgiveness towards Emi. Although Mob never held any resentment towards her, it was expressive in a symbolic way. Also maybe it was for Emi because she felt regret for what she did to Mob. So this whole scene was just a single page in the original release as web manga. But when this series got licensed for physical release, one went back and changed this scene and expanded upon it. He expanded this single page into 4 pages, which added more emotional impact and meaning to this scene, and made this emotional climax of the act more beautiful. When one went back and rewrote the scene and extended it to 4 pages and added this occurrence of the wind blowing away all the pieces, it added another layer of emotion and character moment for Mob and Emi. So when the wind blows the pieces of the novel, Emi gives up upon the novel and says that she can always write another one, which basically showed that she did not have enough confidence in her own work and did not find any worth in it, which is also in a way telling that she did not have any confidence in what she wrote. But then Mob extends his arm out and reaches out for the pieces, showing that she might have given up, but Mob hasn't. He believes in her novel, he likes it, and he is following his emotions, and his emotions are telling him that he must restore the novel, so he does that. This scene is presented with this creative use of panel technique in which Mob reaches out for the pieces of paper across the panel. He extends his arm into a different panel, which in a way also represents his use of his psychic power and how he can do things that other people cannot do. And the rest of the 2 pages are Mob using his power and fixing the novel. And the last one is similar to the previous web manga version, in which he tells Emi that he is an Esper. Through these added pages, one manages to make this scene more emotional and beautiful while still maintaining all the meaning and the weight of the web manga version. Now talking about the scene in the anime, this scene in the anime holds the same amount of meaning as the manga version, and it makes its emotional impact more heavy and makes the scene of Mob reaching out and fixing the novel more stunning, with the emotional climax having a 9-second long cut of mesmerizing animation by Itsuki Tsuchigami, and a beautiful piece of music that rises as Mob reaches out for the torn pieces of the novel. Both the music and the animation complement this scene perfectly, and that makes the scene memorable. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to subscribe if you like the content, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, stay classy.